Hello, hello, hello. It is a beautiful day. Welcome to day one of the Money on Repeat Masterclass. I am more than excited to have this be the topic for today, and I'll explain why to you in a bit, but this is day one of the Money on Repeat Masterclass, and honestly, this has been a long time coming, this particular one. I am your teacher for the next 2 days and the next hour and a half each day. My name is Shani Leatham. I am the, transformation specialist. I'm a wealth manifestation mentor. I'm the founder of the Breakthrough Academy, and I'm just really excited to be able to share this with you today. And I will say that this topic for sure, like not just money in itself, but how to consistently be a magnet for more wealth, how to consistently be a magnet for money from different places, different sources, different opportunities. This has been my most requested topic since I've begun this work. And so it's finally time. I've heard you enough. I'm tired of you asking. I'm tired of you asking. So we are going to be talking about money on repeat, how to make that your reality. And I will let you know that there's a lot of information. Okay. So this is not going to be something that you can just learn in one sitting. And if it were, that would be fantastic, but it's not, which is why we're going to be having this masterclass over the next couple of days. So just, putting that out there. But for many of you, what you're going to hear today and what you're going to hear tomorrow is going to feel uncomfortable. I just want to preface this by saying that it's going to feel uncomfortable and it's going to feel a little bit strange. Okay. You might even push back. You might even push back the feeling or you might even reject it altogether, because this is not probably what you're used to hearing. We're used to hearing A, B, C, D, E, and let's go. There are a lot more intricacies when it comes to manifesting and when it comes to creating money on repeat than just A, B, C, D, E. So you might reject it altogether. That's okay. I want you to lean into this feeling, but I will also preface this by saying, as a person who went from foreclosure to well over $1 million in less than a year, because I did everything that I'm going to teach you today, I don't know. Maybe there's some merit to it. Okay? So sit with an open mind and we're going to get into it, okay? I do not teach business strategy. This is not what this is. Although I absolutely can teach business strategy, but we're not doing business strategy together. Although I will give you some income generating ideas, because I just know what the audience wants, that you can choose to do or not do. Completely up to you. But I teach about the real internal faculties, okay? Everything that affects you and everything that affects everything that you do. So I teach about that. And so we're going to be getting to the root of that today. As you are coming in, please go ahead and let me know where you're watching from. I absolutely love to be in connection with you as we're doing this. If you have comments, go ahead and put your comments in the comment section. Do all of those things, and let's really enjoy ourselves today. Okay. So a little bit of housekeeping before we get started. I do this every time, but I just want to let you know exactly how this is going to be working over the next 2 days. So today's the 20th and the 21st. I will be teaching you about money on repeat and the things that you need to understand, to know, to understand, and to embody, so that you can be a vessel who brings money on repeat for yourself. Okay. Take lots of notes. Again, there are going to be things that you're going to hear that are going to make no sense to you, and there are going to be things that you hear that are going to be like, oh, this is a refresher. Write it down, because you're going to have to review it again. The way we learn as people, you could tell me something, I could tell you something, but until you really process it and listen to it once or twice, it's not going to stick. So I want you to make sure you're writing the notes so that you can go back to review it, okay? There will be homework assigned. I'm a teacher. I'm here to teach you, okay? But this is not like the usual homework that I assign, which is a workbook. This is just something that you get to do on your own, okay? But it's to solidify what you're going to learn today. And it's not going to be too hard, so don't worry about that. Okay, it's not going to be too hard. And it won't take you long either. You could probably do the homework in minutes. All right. If you have any questions, please, by all means, ask your questions, but I ask that you reserve asking the questions until the end of the session. And the reason I say that is I may answer your question while we're going along. Okay, so as you're writing your notes, write down your questions, write down your comments, write down whatever it is. Comments, of course, put them in right away, but your questions, reserve them till the end of the day, the end of our session together today. And then if I don't answer it as we're going along, then obviously you know what to do. Ask your questions, okay? My programs, my courses, my resources, they are available, but I'm not going to be talking about them today. Thanks. Sorry, I will not be talking about them today. I like to be really focused on teaching you what I need to teach you. I want to give you all the information that you need and all the material that's relevant to the topic. And I believe that diverting into courses and programs and all of this stuff just kind of dilutes from what needs to be done today. We're going to talk about those tomorrow, okay, at the very end. I want you to feel like you're learning without being sold to. Okay, so that's why I'm doing that in this way. However, if you do have any inquiries, okay, or if you know that you're ready to take your learning one step further, you can feel free to send me a DM, or you can go ahead and book a one-on-one consultation call with me. I will make sure to put that in the comments, the link for the consultation call, and we can take that from there. Fair? Any ideas, any questions, any thoughts before we begin? Because we're about to begin talking about money on repeat. And baby, let me tell you something. Once I really got it and really understood, money on repeat was just a thing, always and always and always and forever. So I'm just saying, here, I'm going to put this in, book a one-on-one call. Here we go. Okay, we are ready to go. I'm so excited. Before we get going, I always like to lead with a prayer. I'm a believer, whether you are or not. You're just going to have to sit there and indulge me. So, Lord God, thank you so much for bringing us together to learn. Thank you for allowing me to be a vessel in which I get to share what's relevant, what's helpful, what brings us all closer to you. I want you to speak through my vocal cords and think through my mind. None of me and all of you. And it's in Jesus' name I pray. Amen. Okay. And with that, babies, money on repeat day one is on. Okay. So I want you to just take a deep breath. Okay. With me for a moment. We're going to set the pace. We're going to slow down. We're going to be very clear. We're going to be very open-minded. And I want you to just be calm. For a lot of people, the idea of money, the idea of having more, or the idea of having less is very, very stressful. So I just want us to start with a deep cleansing breath. And before we talk about money, we need to actually talk about safety. Yeah? We need to talk about safety because many people here who are going to be watching on either live or on the replay, on either of the platforms that we're streaming from today, they're here to learn how to make money. And this is good. But what they're actually here is to understand why money doesn't stay. You know, why money doesn't stay. And that's really the real problem. And this is a truth that most people never hear. You don't have a money problem. You have an identity problem. And you have a repeat problem. So no, you don't have a money problem. Let's put that out there first and foremost, okay? You can manifest money. Yes, you can. You can hustle for money. Absolutely. You can even accidentally get a windfall, accidentally stumble into money. That's happened to me before. I've found money on the ground as I'm going for walks almost every day for 30 days once upon a time, but that's neither here nor there. You can accidentally stumble into money. It's true. But the question is, can you hold it? Can you hold it? Can you expect it? Okay. So these are the questions that you need to ask. Can you receive it without bracing for for the drop that usually follows. So, you know, when something happens and you're just waiting for that shoe to fall, that shoe to drop, that statement, that saying, it's too good to be true. Something's going to happen. Can you do that? Can you receive without being on edge? Okay. So today we're going to learn that money on repeat is not about what you're doing. It's definitely not about the effort or the amount of effort that you put in. It's about getting your nervous system it's about what your nervous system expects as normal. That's what I want to say. What your nervous system expects as normal. And so before we talk about money, and as I said, as you're coming in, go ahead and let me know where you're watching from. Feel free to say hi. Interactive questions, please hold to the end. Comments, put them all in, okay? Before we talk about money, we need to talk about how money feels in your body. Now, is that something you've ever considered? How money feels in your body? Because once upon a time, I didn't. And then when I thought about it, I was like, ooh, money feels like trauma to me. And that's because there was always the idea that it was going to run out. Or when it came, I better hold on tight to it because who knows when this opportunity will present itself again. So for me, I paid attention to money feeling like trauma in my body. But I need you to understand that money is not neutral. Okay? It's not neutral. It's never been neutral. Whew. For most people, money activates emotion before it activates logic. So you feel something before you think something. So if I were to say to you, here, great, $20 million, you can have it, it's yours. What are you thinking and what are you feeling? Oftentimes you're going to be in conflict because one, there's going to be disbelief that you can have $20 million. Secondly, you might feel excited or think you're excited about all the things that you get to do with that money, but they usually don't match. Okay. So for most people, when you think about money, there's tightness in the chest. There's a pit in your stomach. There's a spike of urgency, like, oh my gosh, oh my gosh. And that urgency, that spike, it feels strange, right? It feels absolutely strange. There's that low hum of anxiety that never turns off. And that could be because at the end of the month, you know, the beginning of the month is coming and how am I going to pay for the mortgage and how am I going to pay for rent and how am I going to pay for the loan and how am I going to pay for all of these expenses that are coming in. And so even though you make that payment at the beginning of the month and you go through and you calm down, there's still that layer of anxiety that's humming beneath, right? And that never really turns off. And here's how this usually shows up in your life. So you want more money. But the moment you actually think about having more money, your body starts to contract. Oh, it gets real tight, okay? And so then you desire expansion and you desire growth, and yet you constantly are checking the progress. You're constantly checking, where is the money coming from? You're constantly calculating, how can I make this happen? Oh, if I spend this much at this time, then I'll have this much later. If I spend this, you're always calculating. You're always bracing for impact, even though you're desiring growth. Okay. And then you'll have moments of momentum when things are just like going and you're like, okay, we're in our stride. This is good. Creativity. This is nice. Confidence. This is good. And then it's followed by hesitation. And it's followed by overthinking, and it's followed by pulling back. Have you ever found yourself in a situation when things are going really well and you say, you know what? Okay, it's going really back. I'm going to just fall back a bit and let it go. Right? I've done that. I've done that many, many times. And I'll tell you, it is a life ruiner. It's a life ruiner. You work hard. You try to stay positive. You do all of the right things. But inside, it feels unsafe to rest. It feels unsafe to rest. It feels unsafe to slow down. You have to keep going. You have to keep doing. You feel guilty if you take a break. It feels unsafe to trust that money is coming. Because experience might have shown that, yes, my salary is coming in. Yes, my wages are coming in, but nothing else is coming in. So it feels unsafe. It feels unsafe. Have you ever felt that way? I'm telling you, this is not a mindset issue. It's a nervous system issue. And we have to understand this. Your nervous system is always asking one primary question. And that question is, am I safe? Am I safe? And if more money does not feel safe to you, what do you think is going to happen? If more money feels like pressure, and it feels like responsibility, and it feels like, oh, I've got to be visible everywhere, everyone's going to see me now, or it feels like loss, then your nervous system is going to regulate back to what you're used to. It's just going to go right back down. And it's not because you don't want more. We know you want more, but it's because your body's trying to protect you. Okay? Your body's trying to protect you. And this is why so many capable and intelligent and driven people feel stuck at the same income level for years. No matter what they do, no matter how hard they try, no matter the opportunities they try to take hold of, they're stuck at the same opportunities or the same income level for years. Okay? They want more. I'm sure you want more. They want more, but their system is calibrated only for survival. Only for survival and not overflow. So money requires something called capacity. Think of a container, okay? It needs to have a place to be held. If the amount of money that you want is greater than this little capacity, what's going to happen? All that extra money is going to go away and you're just going to get what fills in this capacity. Okay? So capacity then requires regulation. So your nervous system needs to be regulated. And it's all related. So if your nervous system associates money with stress and instability and overworking and emotional highs, and then you crash, right? Because you feel really good that this money came in. And then as you're running low, you're just like, oh, you don't want to hang out with anyone anymore, and you don't want to do anything anymore, and you snap at your kids because you don't have enough money because they wasted the food. You know what I'm saying? Then your body is going to unconsciously cap how much you allow yourself to receive. And this cap is what we call a money ceiling. Okay? It's called a money ceiling. So literally a money ceiling. We can't break past it. You know, they used to say a glass ceiling for women in the workplace. Same thing, but the money ceiling. It's not logical. Okay? It's literally emotional. This is emotional and it's neurological. So you don't hit your ceiling because you're not good enough. That's got absolutely nothing to do with it. You hit it because your system does not feel safe going any higher than it is right now. Hence, we try to break through, but we can't. You're consciously thinking, yes, I want this, I want this, I want this. But within, I don't think I can handle it. I don't think this is going to work. What if I get it and I lose it? And so it feels unsafe to you. And this is where most people go wrong. Okay? They try to think their way past the safety problem. They try to think their way past the safety problem. They try to hustle past the regulation issue. They try to strategy their way around the nervous system response. You can't do that. You can't do that because money doesn't respond to force. Money responds to familiarity, to what is familiar. And so if the idea of stress and always wanting and being in lack and not having enough, and people who have money have issues and they're the devil and all of that, if that lives within you, if that's like what your body responds to, that is what you're going to get. And until money feels normal, that's the word, normal in your body, your system will always return you to what feels safe. And even if that's an impoverished state, okay? It's going to return you to what feels safe, even if it's an impoverished state. And that's the absolute worst because your mind wants something else. You consciously are asking for something else, but your body and your nervous system, it's betraying you in that way, even though it's protection. Okay. And so this is going to lead us into the idea of the money thermostat. I'm not sure if you've ever heard of the money thermostat, but I like to use analogies so you can understand a little bit better. Okay. So now that we've talked about safety, we can talk about why money keeps stopping where it does. Because this is what we need to know why. And we need to know why you have financial limitations. Okay. So every person has a financial set point. You, myself, the people that you know, the people that you love, the people that you hate, the people that you don't care about. Everyone has a financial set point. Okay. So let's start there. Now, think of it like a thermostat, but not the thermostat in your house. And it's your identity, an identity thermostat. Your money thermostat is the level of income and success and visibility and responsibility that feels normal. It feels normal to your nervous system, right? It doesn't feel exciting. It doesn't feel aspirational. It just feels normal. That's what your thermostat is. But here's the key. Your system will always regulate you back to what feels normal, no matter how badly you want more. And this is why people don't stay at their highest month. This is why they return back to their financial set point. So to make this real, so that you can see it, let's say there's somebody who usually earns the $5,000 a month. Okay, that's their financial set point. And then they suddenly have like, boom, like a $15,000 month. Just like that, out of nowhere. Regular is $5,000, boom, $15,000. This is where they are, okay? On the outside, that looks like success. On the outside, they're like, this is the best. I can't believe I'm here. I've been waiting for this moment. I'm so excited. And on the inside, something very different is happening, okay? Their nervous system goes on high alert. It's like, wee, wee, wee. You know when like you have a cat whose hair stands up and they're like, think about that. You're on high alert, okay? They feel pressure to maintain that $15,000 month now, okay? They overthink every decision for the next month because can I get back to the 15,000 again? They feel guilty resting. They feel guilty resting because what do I have to do to make sure that I get that $15,000 month again? Okay. I've been there. I keep telling you, I've lived this. Okay. And they worry that it's a fluke. What if this was just a one-time deal? What if I can't get back to that $15,000 month? Right. So what do they do without realizing it? What do you think they do without realizing it? What do you think they do? They delay their follow-ups. Okay. They hesitate on being seen. So let's say, we are in the social media age. We are in the online age. Everything is done online. Okay. So instead of marketing by showing up, being like camera facing and speaking to their audience, they go into faceless marketing, right? They pull back. They lower their urgency. They do that. They unconsciously slow their momentum. They don't even know they're doing it. They don't even know they're doing it. And it's not because they don't want success. Of course they want success. But it's because their system is trying to bring them back to safety. And safety lives at that old number. Safety lives at that $5,000 a month level. Okay? So think about that. That's the thermostat. So here's another example that you might recognize. And tell me if you do. This either could be yourself or it could be somebody that you know. So let's say someone got a raise or they got a new client or like a surge of income. And within weeks, months, okay? All of a sudden, unexpected expenses pop up. You know, you get some money and then your car engine light goes on. You get some money coming in, then all of a sudden your kids forgot to tell you about the fees that have to be paid for extracurriculars. You get some money coming in and then all of a sudden your furnace breaks, or there's an emergency within the home, or there's a medical emergency if you're in the US and you don't have insurance. We don't do that here in Canada, right? all of these unexpected expenses appear, right? And so then suddenly you feel compelled to invest and you feel compelled to spend. For me, when I got money coming in, listen, let me tell you something real quick. I, once upon a time, whenever I had cash, I was always hungry. Whenever I had cash, I was always hungry. So I stopped carrying cash, right? Because like, hey, let's go out for dinner. Let's go do this. Let's go do that. I was constantly spending. Whenever new money came in, constantly spending. Did not pay attention to this. That my nervous system was set to down here, set to struggle. And so what do? You overgive financially. That happened to me as well. I came into a lot of money and I was paying people's bills, right? Paying people's bills without having extra money coming into myself. What did I do? I brought myself back down to my set point. And of course I was doing that because I love being generous and I love being compassionate and I love giving. But just bringing yourself down to your financial set point. And so what else happens if that extra money comes in? You start to justify purchases you don't normally make, right? Like, why do you need a lawnmower and you live in an apartment? What? So on the surface, it looks like coincidence, but neurologically, it's regulation. Do you understand? Neurologically, it's regulation. And so the system, your nervous system, it's discharging the excess money. It's getting rid of the excess money because your new level hasn't integrated yet. And so it's not that your money didn't disappear. It was released. Money didn't disappear. It was released. And we released it ourselves. Okay? And this is why lottery winners, like, they always return back to their previous income levels. Almost always, because they have this money and they haven't changed themselves. And they're still spending as the person who didn't have money. So overspending, overgiving, overdoing, overconsuming, not regulating to match the new level. This is why so many athletes have gone broke. So many athletes have gone broke. There was Lenny Dykstra. He was in baseball. There was Terrell Owens. He was so fine. He was in the NFL. There was Mike Tyson, who had hundreds of millions and went broke, filed for bankruptcy. John Daly played golf. He went broke. So many others. Latrell Sprewell, he played for the Knicks. You know, praise God, like, they were able to, like, come back from it, but went broke. Okay? And statistically, about 78% of NFL players and 60% of NBA players, they have severe financial hardships after bankruptcy, after retiring. So severe financial hardships or bankruptcy after retiring. They haven't regulated their nervous system. They have made bad investments. They're, overspending. Their financial set point hasn't changed. They are the same people with this new money who don't know how to handle this new money. And I'm sharing this with you because I want you to recognize if you have any patterns in this way, you can be aware of it and then we can change it. Because when I show you how to make more money on repeat, this is not for you to just release. Okay? So in those cases, their identity never updated to match the new financial level is what I'm saying. So let me share with you a case study. I love case studies. I teach a lot from them. So I won't tell you exactly who, because you might know this person, but an extremely capable, highly capable service provider, shall we call them. They worked their ass off for years. But they always hovered around the same income level. And every time they pushed past that income level, just climbed a little bit higher, they were exhausted immediately after. And then they were burnt out. immediately after. And then what happens? Your income drops. It just goes right back down. And so when we looked closer, okay, for them, money was tied to over responsibility. So money was tied to carrying others. Money was tied to being on all the time. Okay? Now, more money didn't feel like freedom to them. It felt like danger. And so the nervous system kept pulling them back, and pulling them back, because on high alert, having more money feels like danger. Having more money feels like a threat, even though consciously they wanted more and they worked harder for more. Okay? So the nervous system kept pulling them back. And this is why your money ceiling is not about what you want. It's not about your desire. It's about your capacity and what you can hold. And so your capacity to receive money is directly linked to how safe success feels. It's directly linked to how regulated your nervous system is. It's directly linked to how familiar wealth feels in your body. So you have to get it to feel normal. You have to get it to feel normal. And until your set point changes, money on repeat is impossible. Okay? Until your set point changes, money on repeat is impossible. And this brings us to a deeper layer. Like, why does your system believe this level is safe in the first place? Why does your system believe that this is not good and this is good? Part of it is conditioning, okay? We've just been conditioned to accept that having a lot is considered greed. Having a lot is for people who do bad things. I've heard there are no ethical multimillionaires. What? Say what now? The answer to that question, why does your system believe that this level is safe in the first place, is it lives in your subconscious stories. And so we all have these stories that live within our subconscious mind. Your subconscious mind is not here. It's not your brain. Okay? We have many parts of our brain. We have, or many parts to the mind. You have your conscious mind, your thinking mind, and your subconscious mind, where you're not thinking, it's just receiving and it's your feeling. Okay? So your subconscious mind. And that is actually running the show. Did you know? It's actually running the show. Because once you understand this section that we're going to be talking about here, you're never going to look at your results the same way again, ever. And we're beginning to shift now, okay? You're never going to look at your results the same way again. Your life is not responding to what you want. Your life is responding to the stories your subconscious believes are true. Now isn't that something? And that story, it's quiet. It's not loud and imposing. It's really, really subtle. It's not even dramatic. It sounds like you. It sounds like the inner dialogue that you're having when something pops up and you're like, or yay, right? That's your inner dialogue. That's your subconscious. And the stories, they sound just like you. So just for a moment, I want you to picture two people, okay? Same age, same industry, same skill level, same opportunities presented to them, same economy, same market, same timing. Just, they are two peas in a pod. They're effectively twins, two different people, okay? From the outside, there's no difference in them. But on the inside, their subconscious stories could not be more opposite. They tell two different stories. So for your first person, let's say person A. Person one, Jack. So Jack hears about a new opportunity. So it could be a promotion, it could be a partnership, it could be new clients, it could be a new program, whatever it is, a chance to be seen. Jack's conscious says in their mind, this could be good. this could be good, but their subconscious story whispers that this probably won't work out. I don't want to get my hopes up. People like me don't usually win. What if I mess it up? A favorite, I'll try, but I don't expect much. We'll see. Yeah? So what happens? Jack hesitates. He delays responding to the opportunities. He starts to overthink the decision. And he half commits, like he's half-assed in it, right? He shows up with 1 foot in and 1 foot out the door. And so then when the results are slow or inconsistent, his subconscious is going to say, see, I knew it. I knew it. Because that reinforced the story. And so the cycle then it continues. And so now let's look at person 2, person B. I need a name. Sam, Jack and Sam. So Sam is the exact same opportunity as Jack, but Sam's subconscious story is different, okay? It's not a louder story. It's not an arrogant story. It's just very rooted. And their internal dialogue, their internal narrative, it sounds more like, you know what? Things tend to work out for me. This is good. I'll figure it out as I go. I don't quite get it, but I'll figure it out as I go along. Or if something bad happens, you know what? I'm going to recover quickly. This is what I do. I always bounce back. I'm supported. And you know what? Money moves when I move. Money responds when I move. And so what does Sam do? Sam responds very quick, much sooner than Jack. Sam makes faster decisions. Sam shows up with certainty and firmly. And it's not perfect. They show up in a full way. They're just being completely full. And this is good. And they ask better questions. And Sam stays engaged much longer. And Sam follows through where Jack didn't. Jack wouldn't. Jack could never. Okay? And so for Sam, if something doesn't go exactly right, their story doesn't collapse. They just think, okay, adjust. I got this. What's next? Okay, adjust. I got this. What's next? So they have the same circumstances, but completely, wildly different outcomes. And it's not because of luck, but it's because of the story, the subconscious story. So what subconscious story do you have? Do you carry around money? Do you carry around anything? Look at your bank balance. Look at your bank balance. Look at the way you're living or you're choosing to live. Okay? What is the story that's being told by you to you that you can see made manifest in your 3D world, that you can see made manifest in what you're observing and what you're experiencing right now? And I don't want you to feel great or bad about it. Just know that there's always room to change your story. But first you have to figure out what it is. So you've got to listen to yourself. Okay? Your subconscious story, first things first, it's not really a belief that you chose at first, but it's a conclusion that your nervous system made. It made this conclusion pretty early on in your life. Formative years, teens, whatnot, pretty early on in your life. And it was usually based on something that there was like an emotional response. Okay. And it's usually during moments where you didn't feel like you had much power or you had much control. And so in those moments, your subconscious learned this is what's safe. This is what's familiar. And this is what I should expect. And so now once that story feels familiar, your body's going to protect it, even if it's painful. And that's why people stay stuck. And it's not because they want to, but because the subconscious equates familiar with safe. Familiar with safe. So you have people who are comfortable in their discomfort. They're comfortable in their discomfort. The sun is getting me. They're comfortable in their discomfort, and they don't want to be uncomfortable. They don't want to have discomfort, but this is what's safe to their body. And so they always find their way back to that. They always find their way back to it. Okay. I want to tell you a story about a client. I have permission to share this. So I have a private client who, and we're very proud of them. She made $455,000 in 60 days. So damn good. She made $450,000 in 60 days, and it wasn't from a launch, and it wasn't from like a new funnel or anything, or it wasn't from doing more. She made it because we found the story. Okay, so some of the work that I do, we find the story. And she already came to us at the Breakthrough Academy already earning like $20,000 a month. So very, very good. Beyond what most people are doing, right? She was doing it very consistently. She's in real estate. So that was great, but her business was capped and she wanted to like break through that threshold. And so effort and talent and marketing and networking, it wasn't taking her business to the next level. None of that was. But she knew she was meant for more based on her level of talent. Okay? So on our very first call, when she hired me on to be her transformation specialist and coach her through what she was going through. On her very first call, like I immediately saw it. I saw it so clearly. In her family, this is what happened. In her family, wealth and people with wealth were demonized. They were the devil, honey. They were bad, bad people according to her family. And so imagine a family that actually diminishes you the more money you make. And that's what was happening to her. So that was literally her reality. And so her subconscious believed that more money equaled more isolation, and it equaled more rejection, and it equaled more abandonment. So the more she earned, what do you think happened? The more rejection she got from her family, right? And these are the people who are closest to her. From her family, she received that, and she received it from herself. So while she wanted growth consciously, she wanted to break through that ceiling, that money ceiling. She wanted to change her situation. She was blocking her growth. She was blocking her ascension. She was blocking breaking through that ceiling. So while more money is nice consciously, it's not if it means more judgment, and it's not if it means more isolation. So she didn't get that. And so her nervous system was like saying, hell no, the F not. The F not, you're not making any more, right? So we completely alchemized her story, It wasn't with fluff, but with like a full energetic shift. And you know what happened? The money came. Fast, lots, clean. And from a person who was doing $20,000 months to $455,000 in 60 days. Okay? That's what's possible when you change. She was doing money on repeat, and she's consistently doing money on repeat now. Okay, so what kind of other subconscious stories do we come up with? There are so many. There are so many. Not extreme stories. They're not usually dramatic. They're just everyday things that we say to ourselves, everyday things that we're experiencing within ourselves. So let's say in business, you might say, well, my clients aren't consistent. And maybe they're not. Like maybe you don't have a steady stream coming in all the time. Maybe it's money comes in waves. Maybe it's I can't rely on money because it's not coming in constantly or consistently. Maybe it's nobody has money. That's why I'm not getting any sales. Right? Maybe it's hard to scale. What's the story? There's always a dip after a good month. So you always expect a dip after a good month, right? in your career if you don't have a business to yourself, if you're not an entrepreneur. So what subconscious stories do we hear? We could hear things like, you have to prove yourself, right? You have to work twice as hard to get half as much. Oh my gosh, that's a story I lived by for many years in my life. You have to prove yourself twice as hard. You have to work twice as hard to get half as much. Some bullshit, by the way. Okay. What other stories? Promotions take forever. I'm not qualified. You know what? I'm lucky to have this role. I used to say that. When I worked in the finance industry, I used to say, and I hated this job. It was my first job out of university. Oh, at least I have something to complain about. I'm grateful that I have something to complain about, because some people don't have. Some people don't have the jobs or whatever. I did not like that at all. But this was my mindset. Or I shouldn't ask for more. If you want more, what if you're ready for a promotion? I shouldn't ask for more. Okay, the sun is really sunning. There we go. I shouldn't ask for more. And then what if, like, it's time for you, but you still say to yourself, well, it's not the right time. I'm not ready. These are things that we do. We tell ourselves these stories, and it shows up in our results all the time. And with opportunities, we say, well, this opportunity is probably too good to be true. Yeah? Have you ever said that? And if you say no, you lie. It's probably too good to be true, or I'll wait and see. Let me see how other people deal with it first before I go, right? Or what if this is a waste? What if it's a waste of my time? What if it's a waste of my money? What if it's just a waste? If let's say an opportunity to showcase your business, showcase your talent, showcase whatever it is, and you say to yourself, well, I don't want to look stupid. So you don't do the opportunity. Or I'll do it later. Yeah. Because procrastination is the cousin of fear, by the way. And these are all subconscious stories that we have that are within us. And they make manifest. They show us what we get. So even though none of these little stories, they sound dangerous, they're not. But altogether, they create hesitation. They create contraction. They create inconsistency all together. So how many stories do you have within you? And inconsistency creates money that does not repeat. And what are we here for? Money on repeat, baby. So this is us self-sabotaging ourselves. This is us sabotaging. Come on, Cloud, let's go. See? Okay. So self-sabotage is not dramatic self-destruction. It's a self-destruction, but it's not like dramatic. It's not like, it's literally regulation. Okay? It's a subtle regulation. And so here's what it actually looks like. So again, you're going to get momentum. Things are starting to go. Things are starting to pick up. You've got a client coming in here. You've got more sales. You've got whatever it is that you need momentum for. Okay? It's like you're running a race and you're in the car and the wheels are going. It's going really, really well. And then you suddenly feel tired. You suddenly feel tired. That's self-sabotage. Okay? Or you raise your prices because it's about time you raise your prices. You can't stay at the same level all the time forever. You can't do that because you're thinking that not everybody has money. The people who are meant to be your clients will be your clients. You raise your prices and then you over-deliver. What are you doing that for? Or then you go back and you undercharge. That's what self-sabotage looks like. You have a really, really, really great month and then you just avoid tracking for the next month. You avoid paying attention to all the things that you did the month before and see what needs improvement or see what needs repeating. And you don't track all that's come in for the next month. You coast. You fall back. You just let things happen. And I'm a big proponent of letting. I love it. I'm an advocate for it. Let, but not in that way. That's self-sabotage. What about if, and this is one that a lot of people love, oh, I want to go viral, I'm going viral, I'm going viral, I've got a lot of visibility. People see you now. They know your name. You are now a brand. Your brand is blowing up. People know that they need to come to you. You're top of mind when it comes to being the best baker on the planet, being the best transformation specialist. They want an identity shift and they want to earn money on repeat. They know to come to me. I don't have to advertise for it, right? You get visibility, and then what do? You pull back. You pull back. You slow down just a little bit. That's self-sabotage. Or you think you're really close to a breakthrough. You know you're there. You know you're there. And listen, what happens when we're close to a breakthrough? All shit hits the fan. Everything that could go wrong goes wrong. You want to start a business and you have a job, you lose your job. And you're like, oh no, oh no. No, that's made to give you the time and the space and the opportunity to grow your business, but we're looking at it in a different way. So all hell breaks loose when you're this close to a breakthrough, but then you start to doubt yourself. You start to doubt that this is possible for you. Maybe this is a sign, right? And you use your intuition in a negative way. Side note, intuition is not fear. You conflate them. So intuition feels good. It's empowered. It's empowered. You use this as a sign, and then you start to doubt yourself. Oh, I'm so close to it, but what if people don't like me? What if people won't buy from me? What if people judge me? What if people make fun of me? What if I get bad reviews? What if I fumble? What if I don't sound as clear as I'm meant to sound? What if I have a stutter? Who cares? Who cares? Now, some people think this is laziness with all that self-sabotage. It's not laziness. That's not what it is at all. It's your subconscious saying, this level feels unfamiliar. This level feels unfamiliar, so let's return to normal. Let's just pump the brakes and bring it back down. That's what happens. And so it slows you down and it distracts you. And then you start scrolling because now you've got to focus on the distractions instead of focusing on the things that you need to focus on. And it gives you reasons, it creates reasons for you to pause. And it's not because it hates you. Your subconscious doesn't hate you at all. No, it's trying to protect you. Just like your brain tries to protect you. Just like your body's here to protect you. It's got a funny way of showing this protection, I gotta say. You know? It's like with your brain. Have you ever noticed that unless you actively do something or you actively train yourself to do this, your brain will not actively seek success. It will not actively seek joy. It will not actively seek wealth. It will not actively seek ascension. Your brain is going to seek what the nervous system finds normal. It's going to seek what your subconscious is used to. It's going to seek familiarity. It's going to seek comfort. It's going to seek survival. And so when you go and try to do something out of the norm, like here, you guys are sitting on this live, and I'm so proud of you because this is actively seeking something different. You had to choose that. Your brain's not going to do it for you. It's going to say, or maybe I'll catch the replay. You know, maybe I won't do any of the tips that Shani gives. You know, your brain's not actively going to search for those things. You have to neurologically train yourself to seek what it is that you desire. But while you're seeking what it is that you're desiring, you got to pay attention to how it feels within your body. You got to pay attention to, like, are your shoulders up? Is your jaw clenched? Do you feel tight and stressed? Are you taking shallow breaths? Most likely. Why don't we pause for a second and take a deep breath? Slow, deliberate breaths. We live in a society of go, of rush, of more, of let's do it, let's come on, let's all of that. No wonder we're all stressed, and no wonder we're seeking survival instead of thriving. That's what we've impressed upon our subconscious mind. And our subconscious does not know the difference between what's real and what's imagined. It just receives whatever you give it, and it will reject nothing. So again, if your stories are, you're not good enough, you're not qualified enough, you want to point your product at whatever price, but people can't afford this. I always attract poor people. I always attract the wrong partner. I always date the same person over and over and over again. That will always be your reality, because that is normal to you. Even if it doesn't feel good, that is normal for you. Okay? That's just dumb that that's how our nervous system tries to protect us. How our subconscious tries to protect us in our brain. It's just dumb. But it is what it is. But it is what it is. Okay? Now, let's talk about money on repeat. This is why we're here. And the sun, honestly, I'm just meant to glow, baby. I'm just meant to. I've moved 3 and 4 times. We're just going to take it. So this is what everyone here actually wants, right? Money that's not a surprise. Money that's not stressful. Money that does not require force and an extreme amount of effort, because you're already putting in so much effort in your days. You're already putting in so much work. So much work. I used to hear the story when I was growing up that the people who are the richest are the people who work the hardest. But then when you look outside and you really pay attention to it, everyone that I saw that worked really, really hard were the ones who had the least to show for it. So that wasn't the case. Because if it was the case, then we would all be sitting on a yacht sipping on pina coladas. I don't like pina coladas. Sipping on daiquiris, Cuba Libres. Yeah? So it's got nothing to do with force. So we want money that doesn't require that extra force. So people who experience money on repeat, they have different subconscious stories. Their subconscious stories are money is stable. That's good. Money is stable. Or I expect consistency. Because I do. I expect consistency. If things happen and they're unfavorable things, I can recover quickly. I recover quickly all the time. Opportunities find me. I don't even have to go out and search for them, but they find me. I attract people with money. The people who are money on repeat is their ministry. This is how they think. These are some of the subconscious stories that they have. A successful business owner. People want to buy from me. People want to learn from me. People join my programs. People, they find the money. I'm supported. This is normal for me. These are the subconscious stories that they have. And so I want you to notice something really, really important about these ones that I just said, okay? They're not affirmations. These are not affirmations. These are assumptions, and they feel different. This is what they assume to be true. And an assumption and an affirmation, they really feel different. So what do you assume to be true about yourself? Because now you can create new assumptions. Even if it doesn't feel right yet, even if you don't believe it just yet, you can say, you know what? I'm the kind of person that money finds. Money finds me all the time. I'm the kind of person who is a guaranteed success. This is what I teach with my clients. We all have the mindset, whatever I do, it's a guaranteed success. If God is for me, who could be against me? It's an assumption. It's true. I don't have to go and say it and hope that it's true. I'm saying it in agreement with what I'm saying. I'm confirming it. It's almost like I'm confessing it. Money finds me. Opportunities find me. People want to buy from me. I'm successful. I'm very confident. I'm supported. I'm funded. I'm favored. I'm effective. I attract people who have the best intentions. This is my assumption. I'm assuming this to be true. I agree with this statement, so I move from that place. That's what you have to do. Because people who have these beautiful subconscious stories, right? They don't hope that money stays. It's not, please. They don't hope money stays. They expect it to stay. There's a joyful expectation. We're joyfully waiting. We know that money's going nowhere. And we know more is coming in. As I circulate, more is coming in, more is coming out. I'm flowing with it. I'm not holding on tight. I'm not hoarding the money. That's not happening. That's not happening at all. And your expectation changes your behavior. So if, for instance, I said to you, and I kind of gave this as an example earlier, but let's say, here, you who's watching this right now, you who's on the replay watching this right now, I have a check for each and every one of you for $10 million. Here, take it. It's yours. Great. You have this check, and you know what? It's not going to bounce. It's certified funds. It's not funny money. It's not a rubber check. Go and deposit it in the bank. So you go and deposit it in the bank, but you have to wait 30 days before you have access to the money because it's got to clear. It's a big amount of money. That's just what it is. It's no big deal, right? No big deal. How would that feel to you? Knowing you have access to, you will soon have access to $10 million, but technically you're already a millionaire. You're a multimillionaire at this point, okay? How does that feel? How would you behave? How would you behave? What decisions would you make now that you know you have $10 million at your disposal? What kind of decisions would you make? Think about that. So you expect to have access to this money soon, so you show up in a different way. That's what would happen, right? You would show up in a different way. You're not going to penny pinch. You're not going to worry about looking at the price tag when you go grocery shopping. You wouldn't worry about paying your bills. Okay, yeah, I know that in 30 days I'm going to have this money. I can pay off everything, or I can, if I'm so concerned about credit, I do month by month to raise your credit score. Right? Maybe you start looking for vacation spots. Not to overspend, but you're now becoming a different person, right? You're now changing your identity. You're now changing your subconscious, impressing something upon your subconscious. You're now having the idea that this $10 million is safe. This is good. This is very, very good. I feel like a millionaire just by listening to you. Amazing. Amazing. Hey, Sharon, I relate to the whys. I need the strategies and solutions to break through. This is where we're going, you know? So, again, you'd probably feel a sense of peace and relief knowing that in 30 days you can just go take your debit card and take out some money. You know what? I'm going to go buy a new house, or I'm going to pay off my mortgage, or I'm going to pay my rent for a year. I'm going to pay off the student loans. I'm going to put money away for my kid. I'm going to learn to invest so I can take this money that I have and grow it. I'm not just going to spend it until it's gone and go back to my old financial set point. You're thinking differently. You're saying that this money is safe within you. And now you've got this expectation. Your expectations are going to change your behavior. And so then behavior changes your decisions, and your decisions change your results. It's all related. Cloud, please come back. I'm not getting up to close the curtains. Okay? And so these type of results, they create stories. Or they create stories, right? Like this, I don't want to say that. I want to say, what kind of results do stories create? Yeah, let's say that. Our stories create different results. When I was, and I think I was going to talk about this tomorrow, but I'll give you a little insight. Once upon a time, I was in like a bad way financially. And it's not because I didn't work hard. It's not because I wasn't doing all the things. It's not because I wasn't making good money. Because once upon a time, I was making really good money. Like you could say, oh my gosh, she's rich, right? Because it just kept coming in. It kept flooding in. And somewhere along the line, I had an identity shift. And I started listening to those old subconscious stories that were buried within me. And they started having me do things in a certain way and people please. So like I had an addiction to approval, people approval, right? And I could say within a period of 12 years, I found myself in foreclosure 3 times. 3 times. That's wild. And it's not like I wasn't trying to pay my mortgage. I would pay it. I would pay it. I would help people. I would give to people. Then I'd lose a job. I lost my job. Okay, well, what happened? I need to find another job. I pick up things on the side. I have these side businesses, doing all the things. And well, what am I going to do? I had all these stories. This is going to be my life now. I'm just going to struggle. I guess I'm just made to struggle. This was the story I told myself. And you know what? I kept getting the same thing over and over and over again. I'm meant to struggle, so I will struggle. It's like the universe says, here, your wish is my command. This is what you ordered. And once I made this crazy shift, okay? Once I made this crazy shift, and the shift was, I'll just tell it today. So the last time, this was a few years back, the very last foreclosure, I realized that it wasn't about what I was doing, because I was working and I had a couple side businesses and I was doing my very best to bring money in. I have a child at home. I did not want her to be homeless. So like doing all the things, and it just wasn't working out. And because my stories were, that I had going on within me, like I was sabotaging myself. I wouldn't take certain opportunities because I didn't think that I was qualified or I was worthy enough for these opportunities. I was worried about what people would say about me. They would see me trying. Oh no, they would see me trying. So I wouldn't do certain things. Then I end up in foreclosure. And at this point, the first 2 foreclosures, the bank was like, you know what, just pay us the arrears and we'll get back to normal. This last one, they're like, no, we're about sick of you at this point. So we want all the money back. Every last dollar. So that was about $90,000 that I had left on my mortgage. And they're like, we want the $90,000. And you have 90 days to make that a reality. Now, if I can't pay my mortgage monthly, how the hell am I going to pay $90,000? Because I wanted to stay in this house. And so when you get to a place where you can't pay your mortgage, your credit goes down. So even if I were to look for a place to rent, I can't rent a place because they check your credit. You know what I mean? They check all of that. So what do I do? How do I make this change? I was efforting myself. I was burnt out, working and taking my daughter with me on presentations and desperately trying to make a sale so I can get some money and pay for these things. And you could see the desperation. I swear you could smell it before I walked in the door. It was really, really bad. Then I, at that point, found myself working within the school board, and I was very consistent, and then all of a sudden the hours cut. They don't need me as much anymore. Oh, what? What do you mean you don't need me as much anymore? Now I'm up Schitt's Creek without a paddle, as some people would say. So at that point, I just said, you know what, God, show me what I'm supposed to learn. Because there's a lesson. I keep finding myself back in the situation and it's not changing anything. Literally, insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. I was insane. It was not working. I was doing the same thing. Lord, show me something different. And he actually said, yeah, cool. You look like you mean it. You look like you're going to do something about it this time. turns out like he talks to us and we don't listen. And so I was scrolling online and I came across this person, and he was talking about identity shift and why you can't make money or hold on to money, and why your life looks like this when it could feel like this. And I was like, okay, I'm supposed to learn from him. And he was a brilliant man. He's long past now. He was a brilliant man. And I inquired and I found that he had this program, and it was a 6-month program where all the things that we're talking about here and all the things that I've done and all the things that I teach, I learned from him. And so I was like, okay, I've got this 6-month program, and I'm like, okay, I'm going to do it because I need to figure this out. I've got 89 days, because it was the next day after the notice came in. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to do it. And so I inquired, and they were like, yeah, this is what it is. He and his team, this is how it works. And it costs $8,000 US, which was like $1 million Canadian. It's about $10,000 Canadian at the time. So $10,000. And if you want to do it, you've got to do $10,000 paid in full. $10,000 paid in full. I owe $90,000 here. Where am I going to get this money? Where am I going to get this money? But I also knew that if I did not learn, if I did not confront my stories, if I did not confront who I believed I was, my identity that I was embodying, if I didn't change it and learn how to change it and learn how to create something else within me, we're going to be homeless, moneyless, and who else knows what. And I would just go through the same situation over and over and over again. So I said, okay, you know what? I'm going to figure it out. I did not have $10,000. I borrowed the money. And that's the difference between somebody who really wants it and somebody who is interested in it. I borrowed the money from someone that I knew because the bank wasn't giving it to me. Because, well, you know, I'm in foreclosure. So I borrowed the money. And then I set a goal if I wanted to be free and clear in my home. So free and clear, I chose that language specifically because I did not want to focus on being mortgage free and being debt free. I wanted to be free and clear so I can just live in my home. When you focus on mortgage and you focus on debt, mortgage and debt you will have. So I just wanted to live in this home, and I did. And then I also wanted to be a millionaire. That was my other goal, because he said, let's set some goals. How the hell am I going to do that? His 6-month program, I completed in 3. Okay? I was inspired by my own desperation. So I completed it in 3. And while that happened, I think maybe a week after I enrolled in this program, I received a $5,000 anonymous check. Years later, I still don't know where it came from. I would love to pay it back, but I don't know who to give it to. It was mailed to me. And so I took that $5,000 and I took it to the bank. I took a picture because I was like, yeah. And then I called the bank and the lawyers for the bank, and I said, listen, I need an extension. I'll give you a $5,000 good faith payment. Will you take it? And they said yes. And they never say yes. So I got another, 30 days. And by the end of that 30 days, so altogether 120 days, I was able to pay off the whole mortgage, that $90,000. I shifted my identity. I shifted my stories. All of a sudden, opportunities started finding me. I was saying yes to things that I would never say yes to before. There was no scamming. There was no doing things that I was not supposed to do. These were things that were out of my comfort zone, yes, but these were things that grew me and stretched me. It changed my story altogether. So then my first goal was complete. I was free and clear in my home. My second goal was I wanted to be a millionaire. And I'll tell you more about that tomorrow. But I went from foreclosure to well over $1 million in less than a year. And it's because I changed my stories and I embodied other ones. And I'm going to teach you about that tomorrow. The how to do that tomorrow, okay? So this is why money repeats for some people and it doesn't repeat for others. Okay, so before we go any further, I just want you to pause with me for just a moment. Like, I'm so proud of myself. I'm proud of my clients. I'm proud of you for even getting this far and listening. Today is about seeing what's within you. Tomorrow, we're going to grow it. okay? I don't want you to think really hard about this, and I don't want you to analyze anything. I just want you to notice. Notice what's going on, okay? Now we're going to do a couple exercises before we end. Yep, I'm still good on time. We're going to do a couple exercises. You don't need to write anything down anymore. I just want you to hear me, listen, and do as I say, baby. Okay? I want you to think about the last time that an opportunity showed up for you. So think about the last time an opportunity showed up for you. It could be a new client. It could be starting a business. It could be a job opportunity. It could be maybe a collaboration between brands. I don't know. It could be a program that betters your life or betters your outcomes. It could be a chance to be seen or a chance to be paid more. I want you to think about a time where an opportunity presented itself. And I don't want you to replay what you did. That's not what this is about, but I want you to listen for what you told yourself. What did you say to yourself when that opportunity presented itself? Think about that. And then what was the first internal sentence that appeared to you? So was it, this probably won't work? Was it, let me wait and see? Was it, I don't want to get my hopes up? Oh, the sun. Was it, it costs too much? I can't afford it? Was it, I'm not ready yet? Was it, now's not the time? Maybe later? Or was it calm? Was it neutral? Was it just like a clear, grounded response? There's no judgment in whatever the answer was, okay? This is just about awareness. Just about awareness, because awareness is where the work actually begins. Now, I want you to think about money specifically. Think about your best financial month, your best financial month, the most you've ever made, okay? That one that felt really exciting, the one that felt like relief. Oh my goodness, yes, finally. The one that made you think, yes, 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 we're here. What happened after that? What happened after that month? Did things slow down? Did things get quiet? Did it feel stressful? Did it just drop unexpectedly? Did it go back to your original financial set point? And more importantly, what did you say to yourself during that time? Did your story sound like, of course this didn't last? I knew it wasn't going to work out. Or this was a fluke. Was your story, I knew this was too good to be true. I knew it. Now I have to work twice as hard to get back to it. Was that your story? Because that's not logic. That's conditioning. And you have been conditioned. It's not your fault. But if you could be conditioned into that, you can be conditioned out of it. And that's the beautiful part. Okay? Now I want you to look at self-sabotage differently. Okay? We're going to look at it a little bit differently. It's not I don't want you to look at it as something that you do wrong, because that's not what it is. I want you to look at it as something that your nervous system does automatically. So I want you to now quickly and quietly ask yourself, where do I pull back right after momentum? So when things are going and they're going well, where do I pull back? What's my pattern? Okay? Where do I hesitate just before I grow? So where do I hesitate right before growth? Think about that. Ask yourself that question. And where do I delay once things start working? This answer is gold, baby. It's gold, because that's not where you're broken. And you're not even broken. Nothing missing, nothing broken. But that's where your subconscious is protecting your old identity. Okay? Now, let's flip this. Let's flip it. Head down, flip it, and reverse it. We're going to flip this, okay? I want you to imagine, and just imagine, living from a different internal baseline. So your internal baseline might have been here. But now we're at a different internal baseline. I want you to imagine you're at the baseline where money feels stable. It's not volatile. It's not up. It's not down. You're not wishing and working super extra hard. It just feels stable. It feels predictable. It's expected. It feels normal. Just imagine that this is where you are now, okay? It feels normal. Where opportunities, they don't spike your nervous system, right? Where if you walked away from your job, you are good for the rest of your days, okay? Where consistency doesn't feel suspicious. Where success doesn't require you to collapse after because you worked so damn hard to get there. I want you to think about that as your new baseline. Okay, just for a moment. Now ask yourself, what would I believe about myself if money were repeated? If it just keeps coming in. What would I believe about me? I want you to think about that. That question is your doorway. Okay? That question is your doorway. What do I think about? What could I believe about me? What do I believe about me if money just repeated? Isn't that good? Isn't that good? Okay. And now here's what I want you to understand as we close today. You don't struggle with money because you lack discipline. I don't think that's what it's about at all. You don't plateau, so stay at a certain level because you're not smart enough. That's not true either. And you don't kind of just like cycle because you haven't found the right strategy. Okay, that's not what this is. You cycle. You cycle because your subconscious is loyal to a story. You experience the same things, the same levels, the same responses, the same results because your subconscious is loyal to the story that's within you. And stories live in your body. Stories live in your body, not in your mind. Okay? So this is why effort alone does not equal permanence. It doesn't mean, like, you can do all the work, all the things. It doesn't mean that the results are going to stay. Effort has nothing to do with it. Story first will change the way you work, will change the way you do, will change the way you think, will change the way you decide, will change your results. Okay? So tomorrow we're going to go much deeper. We're going to talk about why abundance is a state and it's not a mindset. A lot of people think abundance is a mindset. It's not. It's actually a state of being. Why gratitude is an identity. It's not a practice. Okay, so they say you've got to practice gratitude. No. You've got to be gratitude. Okay, I'm going to explain that tomorrow. How neural pathways, so we're going to get into the neuroscience, the mind part of it, okay, the brain part of it. How neural pathways actually create financial repeatability. So I'm going to help you create the neural pathways to create financial repeatability for yourself, and why the nervous system, or why safety in your nervous system is the missing piece. So I talked a little bit about safety, but we're going to go deeper into that, and how money on repeat is trained through embodiment. That's the most important one. As far as I'm concerned, that's the most important one. How money on repeat is trained through embodiment. And so this is where things are going to shift from awareness to integration. It's one thing to know it, it's going to be another to live it. When you live it and embody it and experience it, your results will completely change. Absolutely. And so then we're going to go from, again, awareness to integration, and then we're going to go from understanding to becoming so that it becomes you. So tonight, your homework, I don't want you to try to fix anything. Okay? I just want you to observe. Just observe. I want you to watch your thoughts. Watch your thoughts. Notice your reactions, right? Pay attention to where you contract, where you feel tight, what causes anxiety within you, what makes you feel bad or sad or mad, causes a reaction. Pay attention to where you feel that, okay? It's not a bad thing. Don't try to fix it. This is just awareness, and the awareness is already rewiring you. That's good. That's so good. The awareness is already rewiring you. And so tomorrow I'm going to show you how this part, it becomes embodied, okay? And how this work actually continues inside Unlimited. That's my program. For those of you who want to live from a new baseline. You can understand it, you can know it, or you can live it. That's our next step. But money repeat is not luck. It's not. Money on repeat is identity. Okay? And so we're going to continue that tomorrow. So are there any questions before we head out about anything that we discussed today? If there are, please go ahead and put them in the comments. I'm telling you, once you start allowing for money on repeat, like just continuous sources of income, it's a different feeling. My old mentor, where I learned all of this from, and I learned much more outside of him as well, but he used to say, you wouldn't imagine the amount of free time you have when you don't have to worry about money. And it's so true. You wouldn't imagine the amount of free time you'd have if you didn't have to worry about money. It's so true, because if you're not worrying about money and money's coming in on repeat, if you're doing a job that you don't actually love, then you can release it back into the economy, because you've got money on repeat. Obviously, like, you wouldn't do that before it's consistent, but now you have more time to figure out what's fun for you, time to travel if that's your desire, time to learn, time to create something new. Maybe you want a different career. All of that. You would not believe how much free time you'd have when you don't have to worry about money. And this is my goal for you. So we're going to get you to the place where you can start the integration so that money on repeat becomes your baseline. So you can understand it, how that can become your baseline. And then if you want to take it a step further and actually make it your reality, well, we can talk about that as well. So, okay, tomorrow at the exact same time, 12 p.m. Eastern time, we will be coming back for day 2, the final day. I'm very excited because the information, the embodiment, the integration that we have for each other, that I have for you, it's going to change so many things within you if you let it. So with that, have a brilliant rest of day. If you have registered, should have said this, if you have registered through email, then you will get the replay sent to you. Otherwise, the replay will live on my YouTube channel of my name, Shani Leatham. You can go ahead and watch it there. It will be there in perpetuity. So that means forever, honey, until YouTube shuts down. So go back and watch it again. There's a lot of information, a lot for you to think about. And see you tomorrow. Take care.